We move on to our next project, which is adding, deleting, deleting data per group. So first, we define our virtual table, which is private table as new table people. So we move on to adding columns to those to the table. So we have the table dot columns dot add with ID, and the get type is integer, which is the data type as integer, and the second column is first name, the third is last name, and the fourth is age. And with the last name, and the last name has a data type of string, and that of the age is integer. So we move on to adding rows to the table. So we have a table dot rows dot add, which adds the row, and we added some dummy data to help us better get how it behaves. So we inputted one which corresponds to the ID, Alice which corresponds to first name, Mensa which corresponds to the last name, and 23 which corresponds to the age. Same applies to the others. So we then bind our data grid view with our virtual table. We move on to the next session. So here we have the if statement. We have the if statement. So if e dot row index greater than equal. So what it tells that the index is like a valid index which is being selected. So we see something like if e dot row index greater than, but in programming you normally start counting from 0, and like if the index of that row is 0 or any other number which is greater than 0, it means that it is valid, but it is less than 0, it's an invalid number. If it is that, it will display the data values. The if we select, maybe we select row 1, this code makes it displays all the content in that row on the data box of each each let's say ID, maybe the row has ID, first name, last name, age. So when we select that row, its content, let's say it has an ID of 1, it's the one displays in the ID text box, the name in the first name text box, the last name in the last name text box, and the age in the age text box. So we move on to see how to add a new rule using TextBox. So first, before add, we do the addition using a button. So first, we will double click on our button UI which gives us this. So when we double click on it, we will declare our variables which are dim ID and which has a data type of integer, and it is connected to the TextBox one. The first name has a data type of string, it's connected to the text box 2, and the last name is connected to the text box 3, and then age is connected to the text box 4. And now this line of code make sure everything is added to the row when we click on the button. So table.rows.add ID, first name, last name, age is responsible for that. So we now move to how to update selected row with TextBox value. So if data grid view one current row is nothing, then so if it's not nothing, then so what this line of code means that if the data view is not now, you should proceed. But if it is now, so if it is now, the code will be if data grid view one dot current row is nothing. It means that it's nothing is now. But in this case, if data grid view the current row is not nothing, then we should continue. So if maybe the rows are not empty, like the data text boxes, the text boxes aren't empty. We would proceed to updating them. But if they are empty, we shouldn't continue with the process. Means that the if statement can continue, so we can't update. So we move on to the selected, how to delete selected row. So here we have it button as well. So if data grid dot current row is not now, there's not nothing, then you move to the data grid dot row removes what the data view, the values in the data net. So what this means is that if there are data present, then it should delete that row. But if there's no data present, then it shouldn't continue with any deletion because there's nothing there to delete. So if data view one dot current row is nothing, then it's not nothing, then data view dot one remove. But if there's nothing there, it should be removed. So we move on to look at how to demonstrate it with the UI. So let's add a value and see. So now let's update. So now let's delete. That's all. Thank you.